Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Leon Keys. If you're new to my channel, welcome and subscribe. So today will be the start of the intermediate section of my channel. As for the beginner section, I feel like I've covered pretty much everything, well almost everything that I could think of that would be a beginner level, but from now on the newer videos will be more advanced. But I will also try to incorporate more beginner videos, which will just be how to play certain songs. So certain gospel songs, for example. So just watch out for that. But anyway, so in this video, I'm gonna go over a topic of numbering again, but for minor scales. Now for minor scales, there are two approaches, but I don't want to confuse you guys. I actually have to look over this myself just to make sure, I was choosing the right method. So the first approach is the approach that shouldn't really be used, but only makes sense in certain instances. Well, if you notice that, say we use C major, right? Now let's say we want to do numbering for the A minor scale. And A minor, as you know, is now if you notice, A minor is actually the sixth of C major, the C major scale. Notice all the notes are the same. It's just that A minor just starts at a different note position, if that makes sense. So one train of thought for numbering is just to kind of use the C major scale numbering, but just apply that to the A minor scale. So meaning, if we're gonna use the C major scale numbering, and we're trying to apply that to the A minor scale, this would be the sixth, because remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, this would be a 2 and a 3. Right? Because that's how it is when you're looking at the C major scale. So the only problem with this kind of numbering is that, let's say the song is, in the majority A minor scale. This will be confusing because instead of like referring to the major key, the major minor key, I should say, which is A minor, as the one, you're referring it to as 6. And that might be a little bit harder to remember. So I think the only way this approach applies is if a majority of the song is in a major scale, right? So the C major scale. And then you do go to, A minor at some point, but only briefly. So I think that's the only way that approach would work, which is why I'm not gonna get into it that much. But anyway, here's the other approach, which is the one I feel like we should just go by. So pretty much it's the same as how I explained the major scale would work. You're just following the notes of the actual scale and then numbering it in terms of the position of that scale, right? So for example, you have A minor. So the 1 would be A, because that's the first note. And the chord that goes with that would be the A minor chord, right? Now the second would be B, but instead of playing just a straight minor chord or a major chord, you would have something like this. So I will get into this later, but I think I might have introduced this, but the name of this chord right here it's called a tritone. But you can think of it whenever you have to play this kind of chord, you can think of the substitute as either G major or E major, okay? It's just like a fancier chord. So I will get into that in later videos, don't worry, but just remember that this would be the 2-part minor scale. And also remember how all the chords will always have, for the most part, always have the notes that are in the actual scale, which is why we play this instead of, or this, okay? Now the 3 would be C, and that's gonna be a major chord, okay? The 4 would be a D minor, or sometimes it could be D major, just depending on the song, but just know it is a D chord. Now the 5 would be the 5th note, which is an E. So it could be E minor or E major. Again, depending on the song. Now the 6th would be the 6th note of the A minor scale, which is a F. And then that would be F major. And this usually is always a major chord, but with a few exceptions, like for certain songs, but it usually is a major chord. The 7th would be G, usually a G major chord. And then you go back to the 8th, which is just a higher octave from the 1, so back to A minor chord. Okay? So some general rules: the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th chords are always major. But everything else in between could be either or. Okay? So the 4th can be either major or minor, or the 5th can be either major or minor. Well, minor and major. Okay? So yeah, what you realize with songs in the minor scale is that they can take on different flavors. So it can be a majority just minor chords throughout the song, or it could be, you know, you have the minor scale, right? But you're throwing in like major chords in there, right? So it just depends on what kind of song it is. That's basically how to number a minor scale. I'll also demonstrate this on C minor, just because the C scale is like a little bit more familiar. So same thing for the C minor scale. The 1 would be a C minor. The 2 would be a D tritone. But all you have to remember is that these are the notes in the C minor scale. The 3, which is always major, usually always major, would be the 3rd note, which would be a D sharp major. The 4 would be an F, which can be either F minor or F major. The 5 would be a G, either G minor or a G major. The 6 would be a G sharp, so that's usually a G sharp major chord. The 7 would be a B flat, and that's usually a B flat major chord. And the 8 would be a C minor chord. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So right now we're gonna do a little quiz, and this to test your knowledge. So without further ado, here's the quiz. Alright, so that's it for the quiz. So I hope that wasn't too confusing for you guys. It might be a fairly new topic for some people. But like I said, if you just remember back when I was teaching all the different scales and stuff, if you just remember the position for each note in the scale, then you'll be able to remember what chord actually goes with it. And as you play more or listen to more songs in the minor scale, it'll become more intuitive what chords go where or how they're supposed to sound like. Okay, but anyway, that's it for the video. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. But otherwise, I hope to see you next time. Bye.